My name is Mia, and I am 27 years old. If someone had asked me a month ago what my life looked like, would have smiled and said it was peaceful, soft, and predictable. My days were simple: wake up, drink tea, kiss my husband Ethan, work, come home, eat dinner, sleep. No drama. No tension. Just a quiet little life with a man who loved me. At least, that's what I believed. But last week, everything changed. Not loudly. Not suddenly. It changed in a quiet way, the kind of change you don't see happening until it's already wrapped around you like a shadow. It started on a Monday morning. The light outside was soft, a pale golden color filtering through the curtains. I woke up before Ethan, staring at the ceiling, my chest feeling strangely heavy. I couldn't explain the feeling. Nothing had happened the night before. We hadn't fought. He hadn't said anything hurtful. But something inside me felt full, too full. Like my heart was carrying a weight I didn't understand. Ethan woke up a few minutes later. He smiled at me the way he always did, warm and gentle. "Good morning, love," he whispered. "Did you sleep well?" I heard him clearly. But I didn't answer. My lips didn't move. My voice stayed trapped inside my chest. Not because I was angry. Not because I wanted to punish him. But because I felt overwhelmed by emotions I couldn't organize, couldn't name, couldn't express. So I stayed silent. When he realized I wasn't responding, a tiny flicker of confusion passed through his eyes. He waited. He thought maybe I was tired or distracted. But I remained quiet, sitting up slowly with a heaviness I couldn't shake off. I went to the bathroom, washed my face, stared at myself in the mirror. My eyes looked normal. My expression looked normal. But inside, everything felt wrong. Ethan followed me to the kitchen. He made breakfast, placed my plate gently in front of me, but I barely touched it. He packed my bag for work, trying to keep our morning routine alive. Before I left, he stepped closer, lifting his arms slightly as if to hug me. But I didn't move. My body felt stiff, unresponsive. I wanted to hug him. God, I wanted to. But I couldn't force myself to. So I left the house in silence. My silence followed me everywhere. The bus ride felt long and blurry. The office felt too bright, too loud. My coworkers asked if I was okay, and I forced small smiles, pretending everything was fine. But nothing felt fine. I felt disconnected, as if I were watching my life happen from far away. I typed emails, attended meetings, answered questions, but I felt like a ghost moving through my own world. When I returned home in the evening, Ethan's eyes searched my face instantly. He had cooked dinner. 2 plates. 2 glasses of water. Normally, dinner was our time to talk about our day, to laugh, to share little stories. But that night, the silence sat between us like a thick wall. He kept trying to understand, waiting for some explanation, some clue. Finally, in a soft, trembling voice, he said, "Mia, please talk to me. I'm worried." His voice was not angry. It was gentle, warm, almost pleading. Yet I couldn't speak. I couldn't tell him that my mind felt like a storm. I couldn't tell him that I felt lost inside myself. I couldn't tell him that I didn't know what was wrong. So I stayed silent. We went to bed quietly. I lay facing the wall, pretending to sleep. He lay behind me, silent and confused. The distance between us felt painful. I wondered if he thought I didn't love him anymore. I wondered if he thought he did something wrong. I wanted to say, "It's not you, I promise." But the words stayed locked inside me. That night, we both stayed awake for hours, trapped in our own thoughts. The next morning, I expected the silence to continue, expected him to try again, maybe with more worry in his voice. But something different happened. When I entered the kitchen, Ethan was already there. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept at all. But he wasn't frustrated. He wasn't angry. He looked patient. He placed a warm cup of tea in front of me, made exactly how I liked it. He pushed it gently toward me and said softly, "I'm here. You can talk whenever you're ready." His voice cracked something inside me. The wall I'd built to protect myself suddenly felt fragile. Tears pricked my eyes. My throat tightened. I whispered, "I'm sorry. I just needed time." I felt too much, and I didn't know how to say it. His shoulders relaxed as if he'd been holding his breath for 2 days. He reached out and held my hand, warm and steady. The silence broke. But while he thought things were okay now, I knew the truth. The real reason behind my silence was still buried inside me. A reason even I hadn't admitted fully. And that reason was creeping closer, day by day. The following days were calmer on the surface, but inside me, a deeper storm continued to build. Ethan noticed the small changes. He noticed how I smiled less, how I zoned out in the middle of conversations, how my hands shook sometimes when I picked up my cup. One evening, as we sat on the couch, he asked carefully, "Mia, is something wrong at work?" I shook my head. "No, is it something I did?" I shook my head again. "No," he reached for my hand but stopped midway. Then, "What are you thinking about all the time?" I looked at him but couldn't answer. Because my thoughts didn't make sense even to me. It was like my emotions were tangled in a knot too tight to untie. One night, around 2 a.m., I woke up suddenly. My heart was racing. My body felt restless. I went to the kitchen and sat at the table in the dark. Ethan woke up minutes later and found me there. He sat beside me, half asleep, and whispered, "Tell me what's happening to you." And again. I stayed silent. But Ethan didn't push. He only placed his hand over mine. The silence between us wasn't angry anymore. It was scared. A few days later, something shifted again. I was at home alone. Ethan had gone to work early, and I was making tea. As I opened the cupboard, my hand trembled so badly the cup slipped and shattered on the floor. The sound was loud. Too loud. I froze. My breathing became quick and uneven. I leaned against the counter and tried to calm myself, but my chest felt tight, painful. Tears poured from my eyes without warning. I slid down to the floor, hugging my knees, trying to breathe. I didn't know what was happening to me. I felt like my own emotions were drowning me. Ethan came home during his lunch break to surprise me, and when he walked in, he found me sitting on the floor surrounded by broken pieces of glass. His face changed instantly, fear, confusion, worry. He knelt beside me. "Mia, what happened? Talk to me, please," and at that moment, for the first time, I didn't stay silent. My voice broke as I whispered, I don't know what's happening to me. I feel like something is wrong with me. I feel like I'm falling apart, and I don't know why." He pulled me into his arms, holding me tightly as if trying to keep me from slipping away. "You're not alone," he whispered. "Whatever this is, we'll face it together." But deep inside, something told me I was alone. Because something darker was growing inside me, something I hadn't understood yet. Something that would break the peace we once had. And what I didn't know was that Ethan was hiding something too, something he thought I would never find out. Something that would burn through our silence like fire. When Ethan held my hand, something inside me finally softened, like a heavy door slowly opening after days of silence. I whispered that I didn't mean to hurt him, that I was just overwhelmed, but he didn't ask for reasons or explanations. He simply nodded with quiet understanding, as if telling me I didn't need perfect words to be loved. That night, we sat together on the couch with no TV, no noise, just the soft hum of the fan and the gentle warmth of his shoulder against mine. For the first time, the silence between us didn't feel cold or frightening. It felt safe, like a soft place to rest. Ethan whispered, "Next time, don't carry everything alone. Let me share it with you," and in that moment I realized that silence can break a relationship, but kindness can heal it. I wasn't completely okay yet, but I wasn't alone anymore, and slowly the noise inside my heart began to fade. I learned that real love doesn't demand perfect communication. It stays, it waits, it listens, even when the words are missing. And as our home filled with warmth again, I knew one thing for sure: sometimes the quietest moments teach us the loudest lessons. So if this story touched your heart or helped your English grow, please remember to subscribe to my channel for more simple, emotional English stories that make learning feel natural and human.